So, you're thinking of starting a company. Maybe you're in college with dreams of becoming the next Mark Zuckerberg. Here's my advice. Don't do it. Here's why Facebook is the exception, not the rule. Mark didn't build Facebook to build a company. He built it because he genuinely loves building things, and Facebook was his 5th successful product. He built Zucknet, Synapse, Course Match, and FaceMash, all before he built Facebook. Never heard of any of these? Exactly. So unless you're Mark Zuckerberg, chances are you don't have a side project that's taking off like a rocket ship. And in this case, that was 1 million users in 10 months. You also probably don't have legendary founders like Sean Parker, Peter Thiel, and Reid Hoffman in your corner helping you avoid their early mistakes. See, everyone on the internet is trying to get you to become an entrepreneur. But the reality is, starting a business requires skills you haven't learned, people you don't know, and money you don't have. In case we haven't met yet, my name is David Lin. And when I started Duffel in college and raised $14 million, I genuinely had no idea how to come up with a great idea, hire a great team, build a great product, and how to actually make a profit. So we had to learn everything the hard way. And we've spent over $33 million over the last 5 years. That is very expensive tuition. So in this video, I just want to walk you through the 6 things to consider before you start a company in college. Sometimes people ask me, what's a piece of advice I'd give young students? My answer is, don't start a company in college. Don't believe me? Take it from Paul Graham, the founder of YC, the biggest startup accelerator in the world.
When it comes to starting startups, a lot of people seem to think they're supposed to start them in college. Are you crazy? Starting a successful startup is similar to having kids in that it's like a button you press that changes your life irrevocably.
What you really want to do instead is to just build things for fun, pursue your genuine intellectual curiosity, and to build long-term valuable skills. So there's that famous story of Steve Jobs, who took a typography class in college for fun that later became pivotal for Apple fonts. See, like he said, you can't connect the dots looking forwards. You can only connect them looking backwards. The reality is, the best companies in the world weren't started off as companies. They were fun side projects that the founders were pursuing out of their genuine intellectual curiosity. See, the best way to come up with a startup idea is not trying to, and to just be on the edge of technology doing what you genuinely love doing. To do this, you kind of have to live in the future.
So one guaranteed way to turn your mind into the type that startup ideas form in unconsciously is to get yourself to the leading edge of some technology, to as Paul Buchheit put it, live in the future.
But see, it's hard to live in the future when you're stressed out about running a business. Because when you start a startup, you're no longer a student. You now become a parent, and it's time to feed the kids. See, college is one of the best times to know yourself, to do things for fun, and to genuinely explore who you are. A time to find your ikigai, which is the intersection between what you love doing, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. See, if you start a company before truly understanding these 4 aspects of yourself, chances are you'll spend years working on something that will just leave you deeply unfulfilled. So don't squander the precious opportunity that is college by rushing through it. To quote Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad, young people should seek work for what they will learn more than what they will earn. See, your 20s is about experimentation. So use this defining decade to know thyself. One of the biggest reasons college startups fail is simply because the founder doesn't understand the industry. When I started Duffel, I had no idea the complexity of the quick commerce industry and its long history going back to the early 2000s. Turns out there were companies that had hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in funding that still failed in the dot-com bust. One of these companies was called Cosmo.
The life of a startup is a pretty different culture. It's a different environment. It's a different pace. You guys are going to witness and experience chaos.
They even had drivers wearing orange. Weird, right? See, history doesn't always repeat itself, but it does often rhyme. In fact, I think most legendary founders started their career with a job. Elon Musk worked at Rocket Science Games, Steve Jobs worked at Atari, Jeff Bezos worked at D.E. Shaw, Jack Dorsey worked at Odeo, and the founders of LinkedIn, YouTube, Affirm, and Yelp all worked at PayPal. The point is, you can't build the future without standing on the shoulders of giants. Without work experience, you simply don't know what's out there, what's possible, and what's missing. And you also don't have exposure to one of the easiest and most profitable segments in the market, which is business to business. Especially in the age of AI, you have to be very careful not to spend years building something that can become redundant with a single software update. So Paul Graham wrote an essay called How to Do What You Love. In it, he says, try to do things that will make your friends say, wow. But it probably wouldn't work until age 22 because most people haven't had a big enough sample size to pick friends from before then. And don't decide too soon, because kids who know early what they want to do seems impressive, as though they got the answer to some math question before the other kids. They have an answer, certainly, but the odds are it's wrong. I propose that as a replacement for don't give up on your dreams, stay upwind. Research shows that the average successful entrepreneur meets their business partner at age 42. As you get older, your social network grows and you become more exposed to different industries and geographies. You also become more financially independent and emotionally stable, which plays a huge role in the type and quality of people you're able to attract. See, nobody wants to start a company with some kid in college, but everybody would die to start a company with Elon Musk. Due to a small social network and a limited set of life experiences, you might actually be only exposed to a very narrow set of ideas. This means that you might spend 10 years of your life working on an industry or an idea only to realize that your true passion was something completely different all along. I think you really want to avoid this kind of time suck by staying upwind. And sure, you don't want to become complacent and end up like a bland resume on a stack of 1,000 resumes on some recruiter's desk. You want to stand out and be exceptional, but you also want to do this without handicapping yourself. So I'd love to introduce you to something I like to call a disposable business. Not disposable in the sense that you'll try for a few months and give up. That's called shiny object syndrome and is even worse. Disposable in the sense that it's a low commitment business that you can use to learn long-term valuable skills while being a student. And if it doesn't work or you hate it, no problem. Just wind it down and try something else. See, it's really important to explore yourself with low commitment vehicles because you don't want to end up in a situation where 1. You have to keep working to pay your rent even though you hate your job. 2. You never really tried anything new, well you could, so you don't really know what you like doing in the first place. 3. You know you picked the wrong career, but now you're too financially and emotionally invested to give up. That is what I call the golden handcuffs. Some cool ideas of disposable businesses include building a cool website, starting a tutoring service, doing social media for local businesses, selling snacks from your dorm room, freelance graphic design, starting a YouTube channel, or photography for events, and the list goes on and on. So recently I read this book called Algorithms to Live By, in which the author introduces the secretary problem. Say you're hiring a secretary and you get hundreds of applications. The question is, when do you know when to stop looking for a better candidate? So the solution to this problem mathematically turns out to be 37%. So the key is you should always spend the first 37% of your time collecting data. And once you cross the 37% mark, you want to pick the next best option that surpasses your previous best. This is called the optimal stopping algorithm, and it works for apartments, romantic relationships, and careers. So if the average life expectancy is 77 years, chances are you won't have found your optimal house, spouse, and career till you're 29 years old. This also means that you probably shouldn't make a decision before then. So to recap, 1. Don't get pregnant in college. 2. Know thyself. 3. Stand on the shoulders of giants. 4. Grow your network. 5. Start a disposable business. And 6. Follow the 37% rule. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. Please, if you can, leave me a radically candid comment in the sections about how I can improve and make the next video better than this. It could be the lighting, the scripting, my eye contact. Anything really helps. Thank you so much and see you on the next one. Peace.